Sentry mode activated. Target acquired.
Hey there, hunters, or riders, I guess now, huh? Anyway, welcome back to the Gunners Guild, which I will keep saying because I can still use bow and gun lance, so we're sticking to that. Anyway, Stories 2 is out basically now-ish, depending on where you live and who you know, it's out. And I wanted to give you guys two small tips for early game in Stories, which I know I don't do tips videos, they're kind of dumb, but I'm still trying to figure out what content I want to do for Stories, and I'm just gonna kind of make whatever comes to mind. So, continuing on, since the game isn't technically out as this video goes up, I wanted to start with two things you can do in the demo, which will transfer over to your actual game since you can use the save file in the full game. But also because these won't spoil anything past what the demo offers anyways. So the first tip I want to give out is when you're doing the starting quest to talk to the curious feline and go to the Everdens to collect bottle caps, make sure you buy the talisman the cat is selling. So in case you didn't know, the way these cats work are they're going to be selling you gear of the zone ahead of you. So all the armors, weapons, and talisman stuff are things you could pick up in the following zone. However, you can get them now with bottle caps. The other things this curious feline sells that don't pertain to that list is the cosmetics and the increased ranch size or whatever egg limit size and the combination books. So those are the things you really want, but for early game, pick up the charm he's got. And thank you, Maria, for telling me to go back and grab that. Basically, it's a regen talisman that will recover like 15 health at the start of every turn, which is really good early on. It basically negates poison blights, toxic, even from like Garuga, fire blights for when you're doing, you know, like Puke, Anjanath, stuff like that. Makes all those fights complete pushovers. I'm not sure how long this thing's gonna be like super OP, but dude, early on in the game, this is the best talisman, hands down. So like I mentioned before though, the curious feline also sells, you know, cosmetics, vitamins, gene additions, and Tetsukaba gunland, stuff like that. And while you can get those now, I would save the bottle caps for the things that you absolutely need and can't get anywhere else, such as the trap and poison knife combination books, the extra, you know, slots for your Monsteep stables, and then, you know, after that, you know, do whatever you want. But remember, you only get the bottle caps in these Everdens on each map, so there is technically a limited, I guess until you get to endgame, there will be a limited amount of bottle caps, so don't spend it on gear and items that you could just get in the next zone. Now the second tip I wanted to show is a bit more complicated, but it lets you get Anjanath super early on in the game. And Anjanath is a 4-star monster. You're not getting one of these things for a long time, so this is a good time to pick it up. Now this trick, or it's really a bug, is not discovered by me. I'm not really sure who. Sarah Symmetry told me of just how to do it in the demo. You can check out his content in the description, but also I think Angbada did a video on it too. Anyway, I wanted to check and see if this worked in the full game, and it does, so great. So in order to get Anjanath early, what you need to do is go to North Kamuna Forest, which is where you first encountered Puke. Now at the end of this forest, right before the monster nest, there's always going to be a Puke spawn right there. So you need to fight that, throw a paintball at it, and make it flee. This way there's a den right in front of that nest there. So go inside the den, collect your rocks and stuff, whatever. Don't grab the egg or, you know, engage in Puke or whatever. Just do that stuff and then leave and make sure Puke's there and make sure the den stays active. So get out of the den and then head over to the nest and cross that little threshold where Navarro will say, hey, there's no monsters here. And then you're just going to basically wait. So at this point, you're kind of waiting for that Puke to respawn, but the game won't spawn another Puke because there's already one in that den right there. So it spawns a Kutku, but it's bugged out, and instead of a Kutku, it makes you fight an Anjanath. Now, you do need to be careful because Anjanath is really tough early on in the game. Like I said, he's a 4-star monster, and I got surprised by one and he fucking one-tapped me, so pay attention. And remember that in low ranks, he does do speed attacks normally, and then power attacks when he's enraged. Then you should be able to get through the fight. Now, when you get Anjanath low, you do need to paintball him and force him to retreat to a den. Now once he leaves, the Puke den that was there becomes the Anjanath den, and then you can go in and collect your Anjanath. This trick can be repeated multiple times to get more Anjanaths or wants a better genes or just to farm Anjanath parts for his gear because his gear is really good too. Now Anjanath itself can be used right away. Unlike in Stories 1, you won't be locked out of using him because your kinship stone is going to be too low level. So you can get a pretty meaty monster early on, which is great. Unfortunately, he sucks at lower levels because he only has one special attack, which is a fire damage buff, but doesn't have any fire damage skills until level 10. So it will be a little rough leveling him up early on, but he quickly becomes a powerhouse, especially since he is a power-based monster, which you don't get too many of early on. So it's a great pickup. Now in the demo version where this bug was found, Anjanath did not have its out of combat roar. It dealt 0 damage, like literally 0 damage, and the game would freak out if you hit him with status, so it's definitely incomplete then. However, in the full game, the bug still works when you can get a perfectly fine Anjanath. As far as I can tell, it seems decently strong, has his roar, doesn't explode the camera and inflict them with blight, everything's good. What I don't know is if you have the demo save, get the bugged out Anjanath, and then take your save into the actual game if that's going to cause any problems. So, if someone wants to experiment with that, by all means go for it, but I can confirm that you can go to this spot, as soon as you get your actual game, and go do it. It works just fine, and you get a perfectly fine Anjanath at that point. I'm wondering if the Anjanath is not coded to be a monster in the demo, and then the one you currently have, if you have the bugged one, becomes a usable one. Not entirely sure, but anyway, early Anjanath. So yeah, that's basically just the 2 tips I really wanted to throw out there. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and good luck out there, hunters or riders, and whatever you may be riding. I'll work on it. Anyway, see ya!